This video was commissioned by Cheshire and Merseyside Health to support the project overseeing the rollout of the Health Services Keito machines to interested practices in the region. The waiting room Keito machine gives patients the opportunity to take their own observation measurements in the waiting room. Those measurements are then sent to a health services portal from where they can be reviewed and filed into the patient's record on the practice's clinical system. We're in Bourton Health Centre in Chester, where they've had a Keito machine in their waiting room for a year now and have found it extremely popular with patients and clinicians, and where it's used multiple times a day. Patients may have been asked to take their measurement before going to see a clinician, or they may just have asked to use the machine for their own reference. The machine in Bourton Health Centre measures weight, height, BMI and blood pressure. There's also an option for pulse reading, which uses these sensors on the side, and there's a baby scale attachment option too, which we don't have on this machine, but you can see it in this picture. Bourton Medical Centre uses EMIS Web as their clinical system, but the Keito machines also integrate with the other clinical suppliers. We're aiming to show how easily the machine can be incorporated into your patient pathways and appointments using dummy patient details to show the full process. This video includes an overview of what the Keito device does, a demonstration of it in use, a look at how the results are presented to the practice team to be filed on the patient record, and some information about how the EMIS system is configured to support the link, although support is provided for this when the device is installed in a practice. As you can see, the Keito machine has a relatively small footprint and can be placed anywhere in your practice where you have a network point and a power socket, although there is an option for Wi-Fi. Obviously, it needs to be convenient for patients to use, and an amount of privacy for patients when using the machine is important. So how do patients use the machine? If they're registered at the practice, they can use the machine without any need to visit the reception desk, as they will identify themselves on the machine by inputting identification data. The device can also be used by people who are not registered at the practice, but they'll need to get a PIN number from the reception desk in order to do that. Let's look at the device from the patient's point of view. Approaching the device, you can see the platform on which the patient stands, and when standing on the platform, there's a centre above that will measure the patient's height. The screen gives instructions about what the machine will measure and prompts the patient to stand on the platform to begin. Standing on the platform triggers the initial instructions which relate to identification of the patient. You'll hear on the audio that this is being filmed during clinic times at Bourton, so there are various noises off. The patient is asked for their first name, last name. We're using Mr. Bourton test patient here. Postcode. Gender. Year of birth. Month of birth. And the day of the month. Patient information is checked against the practice clinical system. Alternatively, this is where the patient adds the PIN number which they've received from the receptionist. Note that if the patient does not have an NHS number on their record, then the machine will still do the measurements and print a report, but the results will not be sent to the Health Services portal, which we'll look at in a minute, to be reviewed and filed in EMIS. The patient can choose which measurements they'd like taking. It's difficult to see the detail here, but this screen has 3 options, each with a green tick next to them. Weight at the top, then height, then blood pressure. The machine's configured to default to always measuring weight as a minimum, so as soon as weight is deselected, all the options are. Selecting height or blood pressure automatically selects weight again, and the patient can turn off the options for height and blood pressure independently. Once the patient's confirmed their desired measurements, the machine will begin the spoken instructions.
Stand still and upright. Measuring your weight.
As you can see, at all times the progress of the measurements is shown clearly on the screen for the patient to watch.
Measuring your height. Insert and lean your left wrist without watch in the cuff as shown in the picture. Relax, don't talk. If you wish to stop the measurement, press the red key.
Wait a moment. Relax your hand and remove it slowly.
Your ticket is being printed. Collect your ticket. Collect your belongings.
The printout will look something like this, a bit like a receipt. This will often be taken into the consultation room with them to pass on to the clinician. So one thing you might want to consider is asking patients who are coming for a regular review to take their measurements on the device before they go in for their appointment. Results are sent electronically to a health services Keito portal, which can be accessed on any machine in the practice network, which presents all results in a dashboard that can be viewed by a member of the practice team. For example, a health assistant or administrator might be responsible for monitoring the results on the portal each afternoon. In this practice, the reception staff monitor the results at the end of each day, and following strict clinical guidelines, if there are results that are outside of guideline parameters, they will send a task to the nurses for action. Once appropriate actions have been taken, all results are then approved on the portal, and this files them into the EMIS records. If we take a look at our dummy patient's EMIS record, we can see the results filed as a consultation with Keito user listed as the healthcare professional and with the Keito machine listed as the consultation type. A word about configuration of the device. You'll need to do a small amount of simple config on EMIS in order to get the device up and running. This configuration will be undergone with health services when they install the Keito machine, and will include the creation of a Keito machine EMIS user and configuration in eMass Manager to allow the Keito device to communicate with the EMIS system. Once the configuration is completed, test the process from end to end to make sure it's all working, and then put in place your processes for checking and approving results and escalating anything outside of agreed parameters. Attached to this bundle, in the Associated Resources tab, we've provided a sample protocol for your reference. Obviously, this will need tailoring to your own practice with your own parameters. This document is just an example and not a recommendation.